One. Hi! I hope you guys can hear me. Let me know in the chat if you can't. Welcome everyone to Quelmar, the Quelmar Realm Twitch channel. I am super excited to have everybody here joining us for our first ever Playtest Tuesday, and the chat is telling me that I am heard. So I feel heard, which is great, because it means I did this right. So, we are going tonight be playtesting InspirIsles, a game created by Rich Hatchlings of Hatchlings Games, and I am so excited. This is our second ever Playtest Tuesday, and really our first official one. We're going to be continuing to do this in Quelmar, continuing to try out new games, and try out new systems, and just explore the world of tabletop role-playing games together. So I'm really, really excited, and I just can't wait to see what's going to play out in this game. So that pretty much covers it from me, and I'm going to turn it over to our team to introduce themselves and introduce the game, and then we are going to jump right into the world of InspirIsles. All right, here they come.
Hi, good evening.
What an unveiling.
Right, this is the first time we've met each other, isn't it?
Yep.
Very exciting.
For most everyone. So, hi, I'm Josie. I use she and it pronouns.
Hi, I'm Allie. I use she, her pronouns.
Well, hi. I'm Kelly. Also, some of you may know me as Hutch, and I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Amber, and I them.
Excellent. My name's Rich. I'm Hatchling DM on Twitter, most places. I'm he, him pronouns, and I'll be the Grail guide for this session of InspirIsles tonight. Are we ready, Rose, to play? Let's start. Excellent.
Oh, good.
Standing.
We're fine, everyone. It's okay.
Right, well, without further ado, we'll start up then. This is quite unique because we haven't played many sessions straight from the off, from a blank slate, character creation, the whole shebang, so it's going to be fun. Just to give you a little bit of an intro to the game. So it's based on earning belief, or like an energy called belief, and you're here to fight disbelief. You've been sent through a portal by the spirit of your ancient ancestor, Arthur and Guinevere Pendragon. So it's based on Arthurian myth and folklore. And your sole purpose on the islands is to heal the world tree, or the roots of the world tree, which is this like central force that keeps the whole kingdom together. It's slowly being withered and rotted by disbelief, which is the opposing energy. And you've got to fight that at the same time as collecting belief. So it's a bit like the dark and light side of the force, as we're on May the 4th today. It's kind of apt. So you find yourselves mysteriously transported to the islands, they're called, by the locals. And you arrive through a portal called the Allswell, and you were led there by a well-wisher, which is like a mammal of your choice. So when you play the game for yourselves in your own sessions, if you're the Grail guide, you get to kind of make these little mammals. It could be a fox, a weasel, even like an owl or something. And they would have led your characters to this portal. And you're met on the other side by a character called Scriv, the bard, and her assistant, Cecily. Now, they're going to explain to you about the islands, about your ancestors, and about your lineage. And you've got you've kind of got naturally heroic blood running through your veins, so you're much more sort of you're super you're superpowered teenagers, and at the same time you remember from your childhood kind of memories of all the races of the islands, and they're called friends. They're called friends, and there's 8 different types of friends. Now, as you're led to this cabin, Scriv wants to get to know you better, so she asks you a few questions. This is how we create our characters. It's all done narratively. There's no numbers, there's no rolling dice for the characters, there's no statistics. It's all narratively based. So if you get your Pendragon sheet, we can start by creating your Pendragon. Right. So I'll butcher this intro from Scriv the Bard, because my partner in crime usually did all the writing, and she does a voiceover tracks for it. So I'll try my best. Well, now, where to begin? What do you think, Cecily? Ah, yes. If your brain feels a little like scrambled eggs, that's perfectly normal. I remember when I travelled here for the first time, I was a wreck for hours, wasn't I, Cecily? Oh, right, you weren't there, were you? Why did I keep thinking you were there? Never mind. Now, you may be needing a little reassurance. I can certainly give you that. As different as the islands are, you are in no immediate danger. What's that, Cecily? Yes, I'm getting to that part. Don't rush me. I did mention a pact, which you're probably wondering about. You're all special. You have ancestors who made a deal a long time ago with the rulers of these islands. A handshake beneath the World Tree sealed your fate. Yes. You have to prove yourselves over a series of quests in order to earn the favour of the rulers and your ticket home. Naturally, I succeeded in mine, but decided to stay as many others have before me. I'm not bragging, Cecily. I'm just being factual. You like facts, don't you? Anyway, once I decided to stay, I went adventuring and simply never stopped. Aethelin is my patron, and they decided I would take on the job of introducing new Pendragon to the islands. How could I say no? Yes, Cecily, I know I could have said no, but you're missing the point. It was rhetorical. Enough of my rambling. Cecily's going to start giving me her painted look in a minute, so I'll shift right along. No rest for the wicked and all. You know, Cecily and I, now I want to know about you. What are your names? So he's come up with a name now. It can be your actual name. You may wish to play someone completely different. And I need your pronouns for that character as well. So this is
Outstanding.
So yeah, you play all your 15-year-olds, 15-year-old teenagers. Mm-hmm. And if you can't think of a name, I've got a gender-neutral rolling table, which one of you might want to try out for some interesting results.
Well, we already have a Cecily, so how about Toscana? Pronouns she, her.
Ooh.
That's gorgeous.
How do you spell it?
Toscana.
Toscana. She, her. Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool. Right. Anyone else got any names, or do you want to roll?
I definitely want to try a roll.
Okay, cool, perfect. Yeah, let's give the system a bit of a look over.
College try.
Okay, so roll 3d6, 3d6, 2d6 rather twice.
Roll 2d6 twice.
Yeah.
All right. So 2, 5, and 6, 1.
You're going to be called Lennox.
Yes! That just made me so happy.
Cool. Lennox.
Yes. She, her.
Cool.
Yes.
Ali?
I'll give that table a try. Yeah,
Oh,
it seemed fun. I'll do the table.
It's a grand time. 10 out of 10.
2d6 twice. Rebel.
Oh, I
Well
love
done.
it.
That's a sick name.
And I'll go she, her pronouns.
Cool. And finally, Amber.
Could I also do the sick table? Fucking-
Yeah, totally, yeah. Yeah, let's hope you don't roll the same.
6144.
Vespa.
Vespa.
That's a really cool list of names.
These are
Thanks.
fantastic.
Thank you, yeah. Yeah. Well, I asked, a lot of the game was approaching the community and getting some ideas, and one of them was names for characters and for the tables. So
There you go.
some of the characters you'll meet later are named by the community, which is really cool.
Nice.
What pronouns do you want, Amber?
We'll stick with they them as
For
well.
Vespa?
Yeah.
Yep.
Vespa?
Vespa.
Like the little thing that goes.
Is that a bike?
Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
yeah. They'll be a they them.
Like a little scooter.
Like a little scooter.
A little scooty ass right there. Excellent. It's wonderful to put names to all the faces. I'm terrible with this sort of thing. We'll probably get them all wrong instantly. Thankfully, Cecily's invaluable at remembering all the little details. While we're on the subject, I need you to sort through those memories that are sure to be flooding in and pinpoint the very earliest one. You'll know it when you see it. It's always been there, lurking in the back of your brain. But it took coming here to bring it out of hiding. So find your earliest memory and describe it to me. Now, this is the first unique mechanic we've got. This is how you pick your associated friend. So one of the Fey races. You will have a childhood memory of this, of living in this community as a baby. So I'm going to read these to you. Here we are. iPads are really unintuitive when you're trying to get documents. You think it would be the opposite. Right, here we go. I'm going to read these out, and I just want you to feel, just sit back and relax for a minute, and just when one takes your sort of connection, can you feel a connection with? Then you choose that one. Your first memory is of rock being hammered. As you adjust to the din, you notice gleaming gemstones, battered iron carts, sharp picks, and mold-like creatures surrounding your amethyst crib. Your first memory is of billowing jets of steam. As you adjust to the heat, you notice serene pools, drying towels, cascading fireworks, and lizard-like creatures surrounding your scale crib. Your first memory is of bustling market stalls. As you adjust to the crowds, you notice colourful mushrooms, dancing lights, circus tents, and crow-like creatures surrounding your obsidian crib. Your first memory is of blinding sunlight. As you adjust to the glare, you notice clouds passing, windmills spinning, scrolls fluttering, and dove-like creatures surrounding your feathered crib. Your first memory is of instruments playing. As you adjust to the rhythm, you notice a spitting hearth, glasses clinking, roaring laughter, and goat-like creatures surrounding your barrel crib. Your first memory is of whirring cogs. As you adjust to the chaos, you notice metal contraptions, glowing furnaces, leather aprons, and leaf-like creatures surrounding your toolbox crib. Your first memory is of a bitter wind. As you adjust to the cold, you notice ice sculptures, falling snow, knot symbols, and bear-like creatures surrounding your stone crib. And finally, your first memory is of salt on your tongue. As you adjust to the taste, you notice ships rocking, waves crashing, dolphins surfacing, and turtle-like creatures surrounding your clamshell crib. Anyone got any feelings for any of them? Well, I hope you do.
The lizard one and the turtle one both resonated with me. I'm not sure which one more. Obviously, I have a brand for dragons, but also I like the ocean.
You like the ocean?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I really liked the mine and then like the cogs one were probably the two that stuck out to me.
Cool. Which one of those two would you pick?
Oh no, I don't want to take from. I'm gonna go ahead with the cogs.
Okay.
Nice. Nice. I got a vibe from the bustling market.
Okay.
Sick, it's tense.
Yeah.
Could be because I've been watching a lot of videos on Cirque du Soleil, but yeah.
Do it.
And Amber
I really like the one with
or
the.
Vesper now?
They got a vibe from
Vesper.
the cool birds in the sky. That's the one.
Nice one. So, Toscana,
Mhm.
your friend in your sheet is the Bucca, Bucca,
Okay.
and they are sea turtle friends. And they live in a place called Trident. So their home is Trident. So if you add those to your sheet,
I think I chose correctly.
so your ancestral line would have been living with those that community basically. So next was I'll do Vesper next. Your friends are called the Glow.
Ooh.
And they live in a place called Roost, which is like this giant tower with like platforms they fly off all the time. And then we've got Rebel. I think you chose the whirring cogs, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. Your friend is a Pisky.
Ooh.
A Cornish Pisky.
Love
And
it.
they live in a place called Barrow. So their home is Barrow.
Very cool.
They're the inventors of the InspirIsles of the islands, and they even make like wheelchairs and prosthetics for their friends and things. For
Oh,
people who
very
need them.
cool.
Aw.
Yeah. And finally, you, Lennox, have the Glimmer, and they live in a place called Miasma, which is on the border of the Underisles. So it's just on the border of the underworld.
Oh.
Now, the interesting thing is that the Glimmer used to be Glow.
Ooh.
So they were once Glow, but they've lived underground for so long that their wings kind of molted so much they don't use them anymore, and they changed from kind of dove-like creatures to crow-like creatures.
Oh.
Ooh.
But essentially they're the same people.
That's amazing.
Lovely, you're doing really well. I'm not being patronising, Cecily. That's just how I sound sometimes. The next little thing going to ask you to do is to do with our inspired here on the islands. Every Pendragon must have a patron, and you are no different. Back on Earth, do you love fireworks so much it's made your parents' hair turn grey? Are you happiest in a garden surrounded by things that grow? Maybe you're a keen swimmer or surfer. Or perhaps your first thought is taking the kite out on a windy day. Have a little think and let me know which element appeals to you the most: fire, earth, water, or air. So I don't want you to squabble and fight about which one you're going to have, because if you play the game full full time, like as a campaign. You can get to change your patron as you go along. But basically, as with the friends, there's 4 elemental gods of the world, and they're not your typical deities. They kind of hang around the cities. Like, it was one in Weldspar, all different places, and they've got like trades. So one's a blacksmith. The 5 gods are blacksmith. Grain is the earth inspired, and she's got a vineyard. Vorm is the air god or inspired, and he has a sky ship which he hunts pirates on. And finally, Aethelin has a bathhouse, and they heal all the friends of the islands.
I'm gonna go with water if no one else has designs on that one. I feel like that fits too well.
That's fair.
Pretty on brand.
I'm just gonna chill with my turtle in the pan.
I just picture we roll up and you're just like, hey, I got a turtle.
Okay, I'm writing these down.
That's enough for adventuring, right?
You're all set.
There it is. Nailed it. That's it.
Right,
That's the t-shirt. You got it.
Vesper, what are we going for?
Oh, I'm gonna go with air. Just
Okay,
throw me
cool.
on a ship in the sky. Gotta go
And then you have to
fast.
fight it out. Lennox, and Rebel. Who's over fire? Who's over earth?
Do you have a preference?
Who's more passionate about the choice? That would instill fire in them.
I'm less passionate about the choice if you want to go.
Cunning. That's very cunning.
I'm here for the ride and the friendship, so you go ham.
Well, in a stunning turn of events, I actually was more passionate about Earth, so if that works for you, I'll take it.
My Jedi mind trick has worked perfectly.
That was perfect, yeah. Yes, Rebel was Earth, and then finally Lennox.
Obi-Wan.
Fire.
Yep.
Cool. Add that to your sheet then. So, as I said, Toscana, your patron's called Aethelin, and they are the water inspired. So ATHELYN.
Gotcha.
Vesper, Vorm is your patron. VORM. Rebel, Igrain is Earth. EGRAIN. And finally, Lennox, Kilner, KILNA. He's the party show-off.
Oh, that's so on
Yes.
brand. That's so on brand.
Yeah. He's a
Yes.
professional juggler. Fire juggler.
Nailing it.
Winning. Okay, that was no problem. I was hoping there wouldn't be any fights, but good. It's a relief to have that out of the way, not nagging at you like some old loose tooth. You're all too young to know what that feels like, but I had one not that long ago and it was awful. You remember Cecily? Of course you do. You're the one that yanked it out. You're wonderfully practical. Yes, that is a compliment. Don't act like I never give you any. We're nearly done now. But I'd love it if you could tell me about your interests. I find it's much the best way of getting to know somebody. As you can probably already tell, my hobbies are journaling and travelling. I do enjoy singing, but I'll fully admit my voice may be described as unusual. Cecily, you can stop smirking now. I haven't forgotten you saying that. How about you? What hobby brings you joy? So again, hobbies play quite a large part in the game, as do the other side of character creation, which we'll go to in a minute. I've also got a rolling table for this one.
Oh.
So if you can't think of a hobby to inform your character, then let's do some rolling again.
I'd like to
Even if
roll
you can
this
think
time.
of one, keep rolling.
I was just saying, just
Yeah, rolling.
roll table.
Right. So I'm
We're
rolling
doing it's a play test.
twice.
It's a play test session, so we should be rolling there. Do you want to go first then, Toscana? Let's find out
Sure.
what the hobby was back on.
I rolled 2d6
Yeah.
twice. 5 and 1, 2 and 2.
Parkour.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Spectacular.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. One below painting, so they're a little bit different. Vesper, do you want to roll?
Oh yeah, sure do. That's a 3 and a 4, and a 6 and a 1.
Graffiti.
You're getting that hard life out on the streets.
Yeah. There's a little gang forming here.
What a hodgepodge.
Rebel will get something completely unrebellious now. Won't she?
Absolutely. It's the goal. 3322.
Cosplay.
All right.
I mean, that could be a cosplay name. Like,
True. True.
And finally, Lennox. What's she gonna get? What's a hobby on Earth?
6213.
Rapping.
Yes! My dreams have become real. Yes.
All down to InspirIsles, making dreams reality.
I'm here for it, people.
we're in high school now, so is it good?
You do realize
It's-
the pressure now on your character throughout this
It's
game.
going to be absolute fire, is what's
Can't
going to
wait.
happen. That's
That's
how
right.
this plays.
You're
Okay,
literally going to spit hot
True
fire.
story.
Yeah.
Facts.
So in the last session, someone had an iPod and they used to routinely play different Britney Spears tracks when they were doing like tasks. It was hilarious. Interesting. I feel we're well on the way to becoming fast friends. Lastly, I'll need Cecily to bring a sack over. Cecily, the sack. Oh, you already have it. Wonderfully practical, as I've said. All of you reach in and take the scroll matching element. Now, it's probably a good idea to get going. Have you all finished your drinks? Wonderful. Cecily will head off and prepare the cabin for our arrival, and we'll take the more scenic route. I'll just grab my pan flute. I've been meaning to practice a new tune, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Everybody ready? Right, best foot forward and eyes to the horizon. So we just say in the book, if you change your mind about anything, you can now adjust it with me. But as we on time limit, we'll move swiftly on. Just a little bit in between. So this is halfway through the character creation. You level up in the game by, like I said at the beginning, you have to gift belief to the World Tree roots, and that's how you level as a party. The other way to spend belief is by upgrading your items. Now, you can either move through the game normally, just basically collecting belief and traditionally giving it to the World Tree, or you can find the 6 parts of Excalibur, which have been taken from Arthur's tomb, mausoleum, and stolen, and they're scattered around the islands by like various people with disbelief. So there's 2 ways essentially completing a campaign. Now, the only way you can fail, even though we don't like the term failure and like we don't like the game to come to an end. So as a Grail guide, you can come up with some way to like ensure that you wouldn't fail. But basically, you can earn disbelief in the game. So during your rolling mechanics, during the tests, if you roll crit fails, you'll get disbelief. If you lose encounters, you'll get disbelief. And how that works is I've got a table in front of me, and it's called a Calamity Meter. And if you stockpile enough disbelief, you'll unleash a calamity, and that can go from a troll bridge being built on the islands all the way down to the Allswell completely collapsing and basically stopping you from returning home. So there's the stakes. Yeah.
So it looks like all's well doesn't always ends well.
Exactly. And the glimmer, which is Lennox's friends, they don't particularly have a good relationship with the Pendragons. They're the only friends not to have the best relationship. It's largely because they're cynical of their sort of like the Glow, they're cousins essentially. And the Glow have the best relationship with Pendragons and humanity. They're the ones that brought Arthur and Guinevere over to the islands in the first place. So there's a lot of opposites going on. Right. Well, my young friends, this is your home for the foreseeable future. So you've arrived at this lovely cabin. We haven't got a picture of it, I don't think. I don't know if Rose can get a picture of it, but it's this beautiful little log cabin with lots of rooms. It's been base camp to many Pendragons before you and will continue long after you've departed. Yes, Cecily, I'm aware to tend to wax poetic on occasion. It rather comes with the job description, Well, here we are. This is the main living space. It's open plan, as you can see. This is where you'll be socializing, relaxing, and more importantly, practicing your shaping skills under the expert guidance of none other than, oh, for goodness sake, I told her. Sita, where on earth are you? Sita! Oh, there you are. This, my fine adventurers, is Sita. She's our resident worm tutor. There's no finer anywhere on the islands, and nobody can tell me any differently. And here's back to. Cecily, be a dear and get the door, will you? Back to, I'd like you to meet our latest crop of Pendragons. Back to is an infuser, and when you're ready to spend belief, I guarantee you'll need look no further. Actually, that reminds me. Back to, do you have my quill order prepared? Yes, the one with the preposterously large feathers. I do like to make a statement. You're quite correct. I can always rely on your brutal honesty from you and Cecily, can't I? Oh dear, I've got sidetracked again. Where was I? Ah, yes, the tour. Let's carry on now. The cabin is built on 2 floors. This is obviously the ground floor, and as well as the main space, there's a rather quaint kitchen equipped with the basics you'll need to refuel after an action-packed day. We'll go upstairs now. Just ignore the alarming creaking. Cecily assures me she has it all in hand. I've mentioned how practical she is, haven't I? Upstairs is the real surprise. Let's all gather on the landing a moment. Just here, that's right. Now take a slow walk down the corridor and find your sanctuary. You'll know it immediately. Now this is the next kind of unique mechanic we've got for the game. If you imagine coming through the portal from Earth, somehow, because of the way that belief works in this world, one of your spaces from Earth, a place that you found really comfortable or like reassuring, comforting, is transported to your room in the cabin. And it doesn't have to be a bedroom. It can be like a tree house. It could be like a swimming pool. It could be like a workshop. Absolutely any space you can imagine. And I want you to think for like a couple of minutes now about what that space would be for your Pendragon character, and describe it using the senses. Now, most people would usually tie it to their hobby, or they could tie it to the hobby for some inspiration. I haven't got a rolling table for that, but I have got a rolling table for the next element. I've got a rolling table. I know players love rolling tables, but have a little think, just a break.
I think to kind of tie into parkour, there's like this rooftop I like to go up to. So I kind of imagine you go through the door to the cabin.
Oh yeah,
and
that's cool.
Open.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
And I think Toscana likes to go up there and watch the sunset. So it's all purples and oranges, and there's a nice warm breeze.
Are there like plants up there and stuff, like like the Japanese like roof gardens?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I love those spaces. Well, Toscana's got hers then. Anyone else got any ideas?
I feel like I almost have you open the door and it's almost like there's like Persian rugs on the floor and there's like fabric draped like you're walking into a big top, but there's just like a stereo in the corner loaded with records. So it's so like otherworldly, and then you're like, oh sweet, Tupac. Like score.
Quality. It's quality. I love it.
It's some solid East Coast rap going on.
Beautiful. Beautiful sanctuaries. Beautiful sanctuaries. Anyone else? Vesper and Rebel?
I think mine is probably a craft room I have for making different costume pieces for cosplaying. And so I think it probably has a skylight in it that I can open up as a window to kind of help with ventilation if I'm ever doing like a resin or a glue project. And I think it's probably looks like a disaster if you very first walk in. It looks like there's things thrown everywhere in disarray, but I know exactly where everything is. And like in my mind, that being on that corner of the table like is its place. And so it's just an explosion of colors and materials.
Nice. Does it have any particular smell in the space?
I think it probably smells.
What sort of senses are there?
Yeah, I think it probably smells a little bit like hot glue in there. Maybe like a little bit like leather from different materials I've been using. And I think it, despite being super cluttered, it almost gives like a very cozy feel because you're kind of surrounded by things at all times.
Anyway, you fell, you just dive into material. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And have you got anything, Vesper?
I think mine might be outside as well, but like in like the back garden area. So, and I have like a whole wall. I like probably tell me if this is too silly, but I like paint on the walls and stuff, and I've got a bunch of art materials out there, so I can do like outdoor art. That's like basically graffiti.
That's so cool.
But slightly more respectful.
Yeah, it's really cool. But the way the world works, it could every morning it could clear the wall and you have a fresh canvas. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Because anything's possible on the islands. So you could just say to Script, can we clear the wall every morning, please? With belief. Excellent. Right, now. The next essential thing, the sanctuary is to give you character flavour. The items are to give them mechanics. Now, you've got to have 5 meaningful items. On your sheets, your penguin sheets, there's 5 spaces for items. Now, again, these can be linked to your hobby or your sanctuary now. Or, for the sake of the playtest, we can roll again. And I've got tables for worn items and carried items. Now, these items are going to be small enough that you have throughout your ventures, basically your questing days, and they are indestructible because, well, thematically because the knockers, which are one of the friends, basically imbued them with belief and made them indestructible. But also, through playtests, players tended to try and burn each other's clothes.
Now, all right.
I'm not saying I would. I'm saying it might.
Exactly. So, it would be inept if you try that because they're indestructible. So, unless you've got any particular item that you absolutely have to have, then I think we'll roll on these.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Cool. Right, let's do it the opposite way this time. So we will start with Lennox.
Am I still doing the 2-2?
Yeah. Do you first of all, do you want a worn or carried item?
Let's go worn.
Okay, cool.
So I have a 1, 3, 4.
Hairpin. Let's go through everyone for each item instead of doing
Yeah.
all 5 for one person. It's more interesting.
Do a round.
So rebel, worn, or carried?
Let's go carried.
Okay, go for it.
Two, 1, 4, 2.
A marble. It's got one of those cat's eyes in the middle.
Ooh, excellent.
Vespa.
Worn.
Yep.
3, 3, 2, 4.
Headphones.
Oh yeah, sick.
So on brand.
Brittany's coming back. Brittany is coming back.
That's so good.
And finally Toscana, and then we'll go from you back down.
Okay.
So two for you, two for Toscana.
Let's do a worn and a carried.
Yeah. Cool.
The worn one is 5, 4, 3, 4.
Shades.
Yeah.
And the carried one.
1, 4, 4, 3.
Hand mirror.
Interesting.
Yeah. Vespa. Carried or worn.
Carried. And it's gonna be 3, 3, 2, 3.
A harmonica.
Of course.
Rebel.
Let's go Warren.
Yep.
6, 3, 5, 4.
A wig.
Makes sense.
And Lennox.
I'll do another Warren.
Yep.
1125.
Backpack.
Yes.
Backpack. Lennox again.
Let's do a carry this time.
Yeah.
6411. I don't know what the double ones are today.
Ukulele.
Sick.
Ukulele rap. Ukulele rap.
It's happening. It's happening.
Rebel, back to you.
Another Warren.
Mhm.
2, 1. 2, 1.
Dungarees.
Oh, fun.
Vespa.
Looks so cool, guys.
Probably wouldn't use the tables for all of it. You probably have like 4 items. And I can't think of a 5th one. But this is legitimately a way of doing it. What have we got, Rebel? Vespa, sorry.
3, 5, 5, 5. Warren.
A kite.
Kite.
Oh,
Even better.
You don't wear a kite.
No, not Warren.
You don't
No,
wear a
it's
kite.
okay. I want this kite so bad. I want it so bad.
Have the kite. Have you got another space after that?
Oh, me?
Have you got another space?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it. 2 more spaces.
A mask.
Hell yeah.
A mask, yeah. And Toscana?
I want a worn. It was 5, 2, 4, 5.
Sandals.
Okay. Not good for
Not
parkour.
really. Have you got
Might be
a,
a beast.
have you got one more space?
Yeah, I have
Okay,
2
so
more.
the next one. Carrie, do you want? Or worn again?
Let's do worn again.
Okay.
let's see this outfit come together.
Yeah.
1, 4, 6, 4.
A bracelet.
Okay.
Vesper, you've had yours. Rebel.
Yeah, another carried. 5-3. 4-2.
Pliers.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
A Lennox 2 for you, is it? Left?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Do your last 2 then.
So one more carried.
Yeah.
4, 2, 3, 3.
A mug.
Yes. Necessary for existing. And last one is a worn.
Yeah.
2, 3, 3, 1.
Gloves.
Sensible.
Gloves. Vesper, have you got one left?
Just one left, yeah. So
Yeah. Do you want to do the last one then?
yeah, could I get another worn item? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Scarf.
Heck yeah.
Cute.
Rebel, have you got any left? You got one more?
Yeah, I've got one more.
Yep.
If I could get one more carried.
Yep.
4, 6, 3, 1.
Ocarina.
Let's make a band. Let's make a band.
I'm here
Let's make
for
a
it.
Toscana, have you got any left, or are we all done?
I've got one left.
Yeah, okay. What would you like? What would she like?
I rolled the 2, 5 and a 5, 6.
2. Is it worn or carried you want?
Carried.
Carried. Penknife.
All right.
That's
Like one
so
of Swiss
cool.
Swiss Army ones.
Uh,
Multi penknife, multi-tool. Right. Has everyone got their items?
Mhm.
So there's the small boxes next to the item boxes. Just tick or fill in the lowest one, which is the light coloured one. Or it might be the darkest colour, I'm not quite sure. I haven't got the sheet in front of me.
yeah, the lowest is the dark color.
Yeah, so just fill that in or cross it out. That simply means that your item's kind of mundane. I explain what items are actually now. So you begin the game with 5 mundane items. They don't have any elemental power and are purely vessels. Whenever you succeed at a test, any belief collected is drawn into the 5 items from your sanctuary. You'll wear or carry these items throughout your questing days. They have been enchanted by the knockers to be virtually indestructible. Therefore, if you face a shaping opponent wielding the elements, they will not be able to damage your items. As you progress through your questing days, you have the opportunity to commission infusers such as Back to upgrade them. For a cost, they can be filled with raw elemental power. For a small fee, they can be made glowing, and for a greater fee, shining. If you carry 3 glowing or shining items of the same element, you have mastery. This will provide bonuses for your belief barrier and disbelief battle tests. So these are two types of tests. One is a sort of collaborative puzzle solving test, like you would have in D&D, where it's just like, checking for perception or whatever. And the other one's disbelief battle, which is a contested thing with the Grail Guide. So it's against an opponent. Yep. Yeah.
You type with such gusto.
Wow. Yeah.
You type on a mission.
Yeah. That is impressive.
We're in.
Okay, great. Nice one.
Hacked in.
The only other more powerful item than a shining one is Excalibur. Now, if you find all 6 pieces, Kilner, who's the fire inspired, can reforge it. And that provides ultimate bonus and also some other benefits, which I won't go into now. Because now the other thing to know before we go into the tutorial is shapes or shaping. This is the technique for using the elements, casting the elements. It's also what we call sign language in the game. So whenever in the game, whenever you use your spells or your elemental shapes, I want you to finger spell the element using ASL. So yeah, so fire, water, earth, and air before you do the tests. Yeah. And how it works is the elements, as you see on your Pendragon sheet, there's a wheel, element wheel, and it shows how the elements clash with each other, how they interact. So fire obviously dominates earth, earth dominates air, air dominates water, and water dominates fire. Now, how this works is that the air and the fire shapers are aggressive shapes. The water and the earth shapers are defensive shapes. Now, how this affects the game mechanically is it's got a reroll mechanic. Now, if you're air or fire, you get to re-roll your opponent's dice. If you're earth or water, you get to re-roll your own dice. Now, if you're the dominant element over your opponent, you nullify their re-roll mechanic. Okay? Is that clear? Most of the time, if you face a non-shaper, so someone who hasn't learned shaping, then the tests are going to be far easier, despite their level, because they will never have a reroll mechanic, and it can affect the game dramatically, obviously. I'll give an example of like collaborative use of shapes before you go into the tutorial. It's been really dry for too long, and Aethan has been absent for weeks, spelunking the Underisles. If you don't do something soon, the crops here are certain to perish. Approaching a distant lake, Angel shapes earth to carve a channel to the dry fields. Helena shapes water to raise the surface of the lake. Gus shapes fire to heat the now moist air. And Cassie shapes air to lift thousands of tiny droplets. Your shaping causes a huge darkening cloud to form overhead. As the steady flow of lake water reaches the fields, you feel belief all around. If not for the sudden torrential downpour, it might show on the farmers' faces as thankful tears. So that's an example of all 4 of the players, the Pendragons, using their elements together. So you wake up in the morning after a lovely, lovely sleep in your sanctuary. It's everything you could ever imagine. Even if you don't have that access to space on Earth, when you had it when you were younger, or even you would have it in the future, maybe. Like it's like some sort of projection of like your ideal space, comforting. Your sleep is completely soundless, and really relaxing. And Scriv's downstairs, and Scriv and Cecily prepared this massive platter of breakfast. I don't know what you'd eat, but like it's got everything. It's got waffles, it's got pancakes, it's got maple syrup, bacon, toast, cereals, eggs, everything.
Dang.
Yeah, and and you see Sita. You see Sita in the living room, and she is essentially like a dragon. We call them worms in the islands, but she's essentially a dragon. And the dragons of the world teach shaping. All of them teach shaping, except for the ones, as I've already alluded to, that are called banished worms, and they didn't accept the kind of deal long ago, and they retreated to the Underisles and are now banished, and they still hoard belief, and they still steal it. But most of the dragons, most of the worms, they teach Pendragon shaping and friends shaping. Sita's no different. She's sat there in the living room and she's kind of like shooting out little bursts of air against the fire, the open fire, and kind of like stoking it.
Oh.
Morning, Pendragons. I trust you slept well.
Morning. I have half a pancake in my mouth.
Is polite to reply to me.
It was grand.
Very well, thank you.
I dreamed I was sleeping.
It's so deep.
It's a very restful dream.
Poetry.
You should tell me about this another time. I don't think we have time to discuss how you did or did not relax. Now, we have to get used to shaping. It's essential. You learn the basics right now. A lot of your memories will be flooding back, and you'll have some acumen for the technique. So, we shall head outside to the open lake where we have everything we need, including the new sun for the fire shaper, the mud of the bank for the earth shaper, the water of the lake for the water shaper, and the open air for the remaining Pendragon. If you'd follow me outside. These tests are very stringent, but you should have some latent memory of how to use them. So Sita kind of walks outside, and she's got a strange gait. She kind of lumbers out to the lakeside. It's actually a beautiful evening, and the sun's still up. She's like heading towards the horizon, and she leads you straight to the lakeside, and she's carrying with her a fishing rod. Curiously, now this is your first test, and you'll be working together on this one. It's vital that you always think about working together, else you'll not get far, and we'll have to send you back and ask for another crop of Pendragons. Now, look over the lake surface. You might catch a glimpse of one of the rare golden trout beneath the surface. Every so often it will appear, that glimmer or gleam of golden scales. Now, I need you to work together and use your shapes to catch this fish. How will you do it? And more importantly, who will you nominate as leader for this task? So guys, you've got to think about, how are you going to work as a team and use your elements. Basically, you don't have to use your elements, but if you give me any reason whatsoever that you're using your element, I will give you a +1 bonus to the leader's role. That's how the mechanics work.
So I feel like I might be able to just pull it out with a bubble of water or something. If I can do that.
Seems logical.
I'm wondering if maybe I can shape the mud at the bottom of the lake to rise up so that it's forced closer to the top so it's easier to see.
That could work.
And then you can scoop it out.
Sure.
And I could use the air to let the bubble of water rest on a cushion as it glides across the lake. And then we cook the fish.
I was going to say, it was like, and I'll make dinner.
Yeah, are we eating it or throwing it back?
Yeah.
Brunch is served, guys. I don't know.
Because I don't know if they're like magic sentient fish or something down there.
Oh, we should ask.
So the light is starting to fade. It's getting slightly overcast and darker.
Turning on the sun. I don't think that's bad. What if though? Like, what if you just like stop that? That way you can see.
Well, Rebel, how about you do the Earth thing, and then it'll be me, then Vesper, then Lennox, and then we kind of do our thing in that order. And it's like, yeah,
Makes sense to me.
Cool.
All right, so and I'm gonna
Nice.
make the lake bed rise up to make the fish come towards the top of the water.
Okay.
all right.
What happens next?
And then I'm going to water
Brilliant.
in order to, if I see a fish, just pull it out in like a bubble of water.
Yep. Capture it in that kind of like a casing or cocoon. And then Vesper, you're going to...
When she brings the bubble to the surface, I'm gonna and float it gently across the water surface over to us.
Over to Lennox.
To what move? Who's gonna kill it?
Who's going to cook it?
I'm not trying to, but we can. So, fish fry, baby.
Well, now you have to spell out fish fry, baby. All right.
All right.
Sorry,
Right.
weird flex.
All right, just flex it. All right.
So remember, we're sort of wave when we do that. When we do the ASL, because there's no clapping in ASL.
Right.
Deaf culture, so do a wave when we get it like that, because I'm well impressed with all of you. Right. So now, Toscana, you are nominated leader. 3d6 on your little computer, dice rolling computer, and add 4 to the total. Because you got a point for each of you for using your elements.
14.
14 is a soft pass. Well done. So what happens is Rebel begins by just channeling this energy. You like Sita said, you can feel that latent energy, and you kind of like search for, like, you feel the surface underneath the surface at the bottom of the lake, and you do manage to rise it up quite well. It kind of comes up, and you feel the water parting on the surface slightly, and then Toscana, she sees the fish kind of come out of the surface, and it's kind of like flapping on this like little, very shallow mud platform, and you capture it quickly in this bubble of water, very solid actually, but as Vesper suspected, it needs a little bit of a lift. It's quite a heavy, dense sort of like bubble of water or sphere of water, and Vesper kind of helps it up into the air, and it just slowly drifts across towards the bank, and then you can see Lennox just giddy, waiting for his and
Time for a second breakfast.
and she actually brought out one of the little metal platters from the cabin while you were doing your shaping, and she's got it already on the bank side.
There's parsley.
A little bit of lemon.
And yeah, so the fish drifts across and drops down onto the platter, and Lennox ignites it. Flash fries it. This fish is about 1 to 2 feet long, so it's huge. Yeah, like a salmon you get at Christmas.
So we're saying we caught a fish this big.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Yep.
that was pretty good. That was pretty good for your first try. You're obviously working together well already. Now, please refrain from eating it so often. There's only so many golden trout in the lake.
Whoops.
But I do appreciate you conjured the element well. So yes.
Well,
very good.
I know. I think y'all
now-
did awesome.
The next thing to try out is using the shapes in battle. We don't have any test dummies here, so we'll have to use each other. A little bit of a sparring session, should we say? Now, the aim here isn't to do any harm to each other, so keep it above board. Who should we have face each other? Let's roll a dice. So
Right.
that I shall choose. So it will be Lennox. That is Rebel. Fire and Earth. Lennox, you should have the advantage here. So I expect great things. So you both kind of she sort of points to two spots on the bank side. And right, I need you to think of ways to use your elements against each other. Cause the other one to doubt their ability, or to be on the edge of fleeing. Okay. Now, this is a contested roll, 3d6, like I said. Now, Lennox, you will get the re-roll mechanic against Rebel.
Wait.
Rebel, yours is nullified, so yours is a straight roll. But again, other play tests, the person without any sort of re-roll mechanic is often one. I don't know how, it works. Okay, so if you both want to roll 3d6, keep the dice, remember. Keep the dice as they are.
5, 3, 2.
I got a 3, 3, 2.
Okay, so actually Rebel's winning at the moment by 2 points. Is that right? That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So Lennox, now you can get her to re-roll one of those dice. So obviously the highest one.
Yeah.
So the 5. So you need to re-roll the 5 now.
All
and
right.
hope.
It's a 5 again, I promise. It's the same thing.
Right. So how would you use the elements in this contested battle? How would you use fire and earth? You're on the bank side and the sun's still up. But Lennox, you can conjure fire it comes from your heart, so you can conjure it. Like, you don't need the sun to power you. You can conjure fire automatically.
Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
I think I just probably try to create like all the mud around her to swirl around her and kind of a dome that envelops her so that
encased.
she's basically is encased with little holes so that she can breathe, because I want her to breathe, but so that she can't, small enough that she can't really shoot fire through the holes.
Cool.
Dang.
Lennox, what would you do?
The floor is lava. But not like Pompeii lava, just like hot
Mild
sand lava.
like hot coals.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
The floor
You're
is
both
lava.
doing something with the surface. That's perfect. Okay. Well, Rebel actually won. So when you conjure the hot coals, it kind of almost, even though she's like Rebel's bouncing up and down on the feet, it kind of like almost like causes her to focus better. And as instinctively she brings up all this like mud, and then there's like roots and stuff from the bankside encasing it. It kind of wraps around your limbs, and then all the mud kind of slides up and halfway your body, and it sort of like pins your arms, and you have to drop your shape. You have to drop your hot coals, and they become like little steaming like balls of mud.
It's like,
well, as usual, the underdog won. I often find it.
It's a good fight, though. Good try.
It's a good try, but this is the only time you'll be facing each other. So use those skills and use that luck out in the field. Now that leaves Toscana and Vesper.
funny.
During the first fight, Toscana was off to the side like, Mortal Kombat!
Vespa was eating that fish. Just like...
Good.
Right, take your places
Well
on the
seasoned.
bank.
It's great.
It's well
Place on the
seasoned
bank.
fish. It's fresh.
Now, air. So Vesper has the advantage over water.
So I don't get a reroll.
You don't get a reroll. So it's the same situation as Lennox or Rebel. Aggressive shape against defensive shape. Now, first, how will you use your shapes against each other? So how will you use air and water?
I think I want to cause a bunch of water in the lake, just like ankle high or knee high or something. Just like kind of rush out and knock them down.
Yep. Nice.
and I think Toscana has seen Avatar, so she does like a little spin kick as she does it. Yeah.
What's Avatar? You keep mentioning this Avatar thing. I'm only joking.
My heart
You
just
have to spend the rest of the session educating me, wouldn't you? You have to forget Inspirals. We have to watch Avatar. Like
Yes.
We'll have a watch party of Avatar.
Forget this English-based fantasy.
You heard it here first, folks. Watch party of Avatar. It's happening.
Vesper, what would they do?
So I feel like they'd try to block Toscana's vision. So if if it's cloudy, I'd love to try to blow some like clouds down.
Yeah.
To make it a little like misty, so that she can't see super great.
So like a concentrated shroud of
And
like
it's all-
cloud.
Yeah.
That's cool. Right, 3d6 each, and yeah, go for it.
We don't add anything, just flat.
Flat roll first, and then leave the dice as they are, and then Vesper very well may ask you to re-roll your 6.
I got a 9.
How the 3 dice?
4, 3, 2.
Okay.
I got 5, 6, 3.
Oh jeez.
Heck yeah.
Well, you won automatically because obviously you only get one of the re-roll mechanic. So so I'll let you describe this time. I'll let you describe. Depending on when you get the actual book, you can either have the Grail Guide describe, because they're going to be usually the most experienced role player, or an adult in the case of playing with children. So they would normally describe the actions, but as you're seasoned role players, as part of your lovely community, I'll let you describe how it happens.
I have a reaction in mind, but I want to see how Vesper does their thing.
I feel like I see you pulling water in up to my ankles, and I'm like, ew. So
Such a fish.
Oh no, my shoes.
I just bought these.
Oh. Now my socks are wet. This day is ruined.
So, and I do like the thing where I'm like, gross, and then the clouds start coming down with the wind and swoosh in around her, in like a spiral. So I'm grossed out.
Yeah, so I think Toscana's like, yeah, spin kick. But at the end, I get buffeted with all the mist and kind of like get disoriented. It's like, all right, did I hit you? I think I hit you.
Did I do it?
No.
Not at all. No, your spin kick's way inaccurate, and it kind of it flips off, and you kick with water, like this kind of jet of water out from the lake, extended through your foot. It kind of smacks into the side of the fish and sends it spinning off from the platter down the bank, and there's just like a fried fish slowly sinking into the lake.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Huh.
I didn't mean to.
Well,
my lunch.
this went more to plan. Well done, Fire Shaper. An excellent form. And on that note, I think we'll go back in and have some rest. It can take it out of you. The Fire Shapers can often experience heartburn. The Air Shapers can often get a bit breathless. The Earth Shapers can have a bit of indigestion. And the Water Shapers may need to use the bathroom.
That's not where I was expecting you to go with that.
and
Toscana's
waterbenders
bouncing
have
a
to
little
go
like,
with me.
yeah, let's go back inside.
Guys, I have to go inside.
And talking of bathroom breaks, I think Rose, I think we're due our half-time
Yeah,
hiatus.
for sure. All right, folks, we are going to take a break for our friends to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go get some pasta. And yeah, so we're going to take a quick little breakaroo, and we will be back. Now, mind you, this be right back screen, I was expecting to need to use it for technical difficulties. That's all I feel like I need to tell you. Now.
We're back
We're just
again.
talking about that.
We got pets.
Who wants to
Yeah.
adopt some mice from the Washington, D.C. area? Please contact Small Angels Rescue.
You're not far from me.
No,
I live like 45 minutes south of DC.
I live about half an hour west.
What?
I live however many hours it takes to cross the country west.
Several.
I live
Like
nowhere
3
near
days.
Yeah.
All right, y'all can. You guys can jump
By
in with-
car, that's like
I gotta go.
I'm in a slightly different
switch
country.
my pasta into the boiling water. So
Cool. Yeah, I don't know how much everyone caught, but we
We have so many animals.
Squib gave them the map. The map wasn't very readable. They were going on their first question day. They're going to head out. They've been given ponies. Squib took them around the back of the questing cabin. And in the pens, in the stables, there's a pony for each of you. Maybe describe it and give it a name. I have not a pony
Oh,
rolling
no.
table, but I may amend that. I may amend that in hindsight. I may have a pony rolling table.
The Kentucky Derby just happened. And we were looking at the horse names the other day, and they were wild.
Was it
I'm
a
tempted to steal one.
100% do that. That's what I might make the rolling table. That I might just go to the Kentucky Derby. Flamio.
Go to the cast list of Seabiscuit.
Yeah.
Just, there it is. Toby Maguire.
What's the pony called? Toby Maguire.
Hot Rod Charlie. The third name on this list is Hot Rod Charlie.
It's like an
That
old.
And the pony is the
Go to
complete
that.
opposite. It's like the most kind of like lazy, like slovenly pony you can imagine.
Hot Rod Charlie wants
Wants to sit
Just
down and eat hay.
sit down.
That's basically it.
this guy's like, yeah, let's go.
Any other names? Someone type into Google pony names. Can someone type in pony names?
Oh,
Legendary pony names.
Franklin, Orchid, Tallulah, Tibbs, Dusty, Spud. Someone needs to
Oh,
use
that's
Spud.
epic.
it looks like there was a horse called Rock Your World, so I'm gonna be going with Rock Your World.
Nice.
Lennox is spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Rocky Well Spaghetti and Spud.
And Toby Maguire.
Toby Maguire. Nice. Right. So you get your bizarrely named ponies. You lead them out of the
Spaghetti now.
stables. Right. So head along the path. Toscana, I'm sure you will be able to read it well. You start your journey down this way, and she kind of points the opposite way than you imagine you would go, judging by the map. And ride between the tall grass until you reach the first windmill. And it's a little bit further on until you get to the cliffside, and then Ern and Akros will be there to meet you. As I said, they are not your typical glow, they are Kilner affiliated glow, and they will appear something like the phoenixes from your Earth Greek mythology.
How do you
can't
know
miss
about that? Never
I
mind.
was once from Earth. I was a Pendragon myself. Do you not know about this? You can spend as many years as you wish on the islands. As soon as you head back through the portal, you become a 15-year-old again, as if no time has passed whatsoever.
Huh.
I myself am in my early 30s, and I intend to spend another 30 years here. In which case I shall return through the portal as if I haven't even left the kitchen.
I don't want to go through AP math again.
Scares you
I
more as you
mean,
want.
on the plus side, you'll ace it the second time.
Yeah.
That was so real. Oh God!
Don't underestimate the experience you'll learn here and the skills you'll pick up.
Calculus.
Although you will return as a 15-year-old, you still may have 60 or 70 years of life experience.
Whoa.
Yes. Well, indeed. So, Scrib turns around and Cecily's kind of like just tapping her foot. She's like, come on. And then Scrib returns to the cabin, and you find you can ride really well. Again, you've got this latent sort of like memory of picking up certain things like shaping and horse riding, pony riding. It's almost like your body.
Oops.
The Rose just popped up. What's she
I
done?
don't
I
there?
made a
I
mistake.
don't think
Rose.
people seeing you is a bad thing.
Mistakes were made. But we're back.
Just photo bombing us.
That was so cute.
I forgot to put it in studio mode. This is my first time streaming, guys. I'm sorry.
You're doing amazing. Don't worry about
You're
it.
doing great. You're doing
Completely.
great.
It's got character. It's a stream of character. Right. Let's,
Wow, that was the most dad one you're saying.
I am a dad.
Builds character.
Right. So yeah, head off then. So try and follow the map. So you set off from the quest cabin. You can ride competently. You put it down, like many things since arriving, to that famed Pendragon ancestry. The sun is hidden behind clouds, and as you travel alongside sweeping fields of grass, the strong breeze leaves you uncomfortably cold. After a while, you arrive at a windmill. Its tattered sails hanging still and creaking in the breeze. There is a capra sitting cross-legged at the base, scrawling on the dusty ground with a twig. He looks profoundly miserable. Now, capra are the goat-like friends. They're a little bit like fawns, again from Greek myth. He looks really down, crestfallen and miserable.
Hello? You okay?
Hi,
What's wrong, friend?
are you the new Pendragons?
Yeah.
That's what we've been told.
Yep.
Then what are you here for? Are you here to help me? Have you been sent to help me?
I don't know, but if we can help, I would like to.
That's our job now.
I like the enthusiasm. I really do. Anyway, I don't know if you can, but if you look on top of my windmill, there's a bunch of birds up there. They look a little bit like Volcars.
What's a Volcar?
What's a Volcar?
Well, if you look up at the sail, you'll see this row of like they look a little cross between a raven and a vulture. So like
So
giant, quite big ravens.
they're so cool.
Does that mean they have the really long necks?
Yeah.
Ah,
Cool.
it's an Edgar Allan Poe nightmare.
Got they got a nest on top of it on one of the sails. I can't start them up again. I can't make a living. I can't earn belief, and they keep sweeping down and eating my crops as well. I just don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt them. They might have legs or something in the nest. I can't get up the ladder because, as you can see, I've only got the one leg. I was wondering if you can just simply investigate and have a look at, see what the situation is up there, and if they don't have any eggs, maybe just scare them off, or maybe just find a way to cover my crops. I don't know. I haven't learned any shaping. I don't know anything.
Works for me. I know parkour. I can get up there.
You know what? Sorry. Who's he?
Parkour. It's like
You
jumping on stuff.
You can jump on stuff. Well, you're already way ahead of me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there is a ladder, but
I could make pillars of stone and you could parkour off of them up to the top. Like, I know there's a ladder, but that
Yeah.
would be pretty cool.
yeah, that'd be way more fun.
This is
We're-
very
we're-
perky, I have to say.
We're in it for the cool points.
Is that the same as belief?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that might be literally cool points.
But
Well, I don't think my mood will change until the Volcars kind of allow me to start my trade up again.
Did you do anything them sad? Like that made them want to come here? Have you talked to them at all?
They don't like to talk to me. They sound very, very melancholy.
Well, if a Volcar is telling you you're melancholy.
I mean, even the bread I make is kind of a little bit stale even before you taste it.
That's so
Oh.
sad.
Well, maybe we can inspire you with how cool we're going to handle your problem. And then you'll have not stale bread. Your bread will be, you know, like on the borderline when it's about to be stale instead of like fully stale bread.
So, like,
Sure.
crime.
We're gonna make you so happy that your bread improves by this much.
That sounds really good. That
Here.
sounds really good.
Hold on to this kite while we solve your problems.
So this is going to work the same way as the fishing test. So again, pick a leader out of the four of you, depending on which element you feel is going to be as Toscana again.
I mean, if y'all are okay with that.
Yeah.
And then
Hardcore for bread.
hardcore for bread. Mm. And
That's
then,
a nice charity
the other three, give me a reason you're using your elements to assist her, and then you can add your bonuses. So give me some narrative. It's going to be pillars of rock, you said, or pillars of stone.
Yeah. So
mud, or
step
whatever.
one, just that we want to get up there and we want to talk to them and see what the situation is, or do we want to just try to move them now?
So you can also use the elements in social tests, and the way that works is normally that fire and air conversationist would be a little bit aggressive and sort of overconfident, and the earth and water shapers would be more calm, subtle, more like empathetic.
Sorry about that.
It depends. It depends how you want to. If you want to like sort of get the birds on your side, or if you want to give them a little bit of a fright.
I think I want to get him on our side. A bit.
Yeah, because then
So,
everyone.
yeah.
So I can make pillars if you want. If you want to get up there and you can talk to them.
Yeah, let's do that. I know there's a ladder, but this is gonna be cooler.
But that'll be cool. You'll inspire them. They'll think you're worth talking to, and if they see how much fun you are, then they'll want to talk to you.
So part of the game to make it very user friendly, especially if you're playing with like inexperienced role players or children, is that the Grail guide who comes up with the questing days will have tips for the elements for each of their tests. So what I would say is that on this occasion, if Lennox can't come up with a reason to use fire, she could bake the pillars, so she can make the mud solid, like almost like clay-like. Unless she comes up with something of her own invention. But like, it's just if the players, the Pendragons ever get stuck with an idea, then the Grail guy could step in and go, well, maybe you could do that. So we're not here to like put people off the game. We're here to like make the story flow. Vesper, I don't know what what they want to do.
What if Toscana like falls at all? I'll push her back onto something.
Like a balance thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool. You got all 4 points.
Woo!
So, as before, I'm going to let you do your element signs, and then I'm going to let you narrate what happens, because you're experienced role players and thespians.
All right, Lennox, you ready?
Shake and bake.
All right. And I'm gonna shoot a pillar in the air. Let Lennox blast it with fire, and then I'll shoot up the next one.
Yeah, they're kind of they're like instant clay.
And kiln.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna make sure they've got like nice edges that Toscana can like leap off of.
Totally smooth. Correct. Be
Without
careful.
the really cool thing about this test is that Toscana, because she uses her hobby, she gets to put a point in the gift box.
Oh, okay. A point. What does that do?
And that means you can re-roll an entire test thing. So if you're the leader, you can do a complete re-roll. So 3d6 you can re-roll again if you don't like the result. It's like inspiration.
Oh, okay.
So as you parkour up these pillars, you feel Aethelyn's presence from a distance. So you can feel like the water in your body kind of like almost like warm up. Yeah.
Okay. I'm slowly getting the hang of it.
Nice. Definitely way for that. No experience with sign language. Brilliant. Well done. And then finally, Vespa.
And as she's bopping up the things, I'll just make sure that she's staying balanced with air. So I'll like
Brilliant.
keep her like, and like if she falls, I'll try to like cushion her fall.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah, you with the combined things, you almost like test yourself, so you sort of jump onto the pillars as they're risen, as they're baked, and just at the cusp of like sinking into the top of the pillar, you kind of leap from one to the other, and then Vespa kind of just really steadies you. Like there's one bit where you wobble towards the end pillar, but you make it onto the sort of like the main part of the windmill, and the sail's just next to you. Now, you just managed to avoid a huge nest. It's not huge. It's a big nest on the top of the side of the sail, basically on one of the kind of like stanchions. And the Volcars look down at you. It's like there's 5 of them. They all turn their heads.
Sup, I'm Toscana and we're the Pendragons. What's going on?
This our home we take from depressed goat.
Okay, but that is kind of making him more depressed. And I'd rather like no one was depressed.
He always like that. We play games. We flock, we fly. We play catch with his crops. Never cheers up.
Right. But how would you feel if you like went down and caught something and then someone else took it and started playing with it?
Bit depressed.
Yeah. So maybe we can find something else for you to play with?
I get you now. It's a good point. What do you propose we play with?
Those
eyes look good. Those eyes in your head look good.
Okay, I do kind of need those.
We pick them out.
I do think they're pretty, but I do need those.
What about your friends?
What about shinies? Do you like shinies?
Shiny thing's good.
Another one's like,
oh, shinies, yes, shinies.
what shinies have you got?
I think she's gonna pull out her hand mirror and try to catch the light off it a little bit. Be like, and this won't break either. You can always play with this.
Whoa. Pendragons need those things. Those shinies.
Huh.
Do I? I'm not sure why I brought this.
Does the pony need eyes? Does the horse thing need eyes?
Hmm.
Can I pluck the pony eyes? Can I pluck the pony eyes?
No pony eyes. What if we make something like eyes?
Oh.
And yeah, the third one says,
Tell me more. Tell me more. What do you make? What do you make like eyes?
Hey guys, can you like make marbles or something? I don't know how you make those.
With dirt and fire.
Yeah, I have a marble we can use as like a mold to make more marbles.
That's genius.
Let's make
Yeah.
glass out of dirt.
Paint them.
We're using science.
AP Chem, here we come.
Yay! We're learning earth science.
You bring us eyes. We go. We take nest from depressed goat. We leave him be. He make bread. He may be happy. You're probably right.
Yeah, perfect.
We are selfish Volcars. It's just the way we are.
I understand.
Give me 20 minutes.
We're dirt. Yeah, really.
Give or take.
It's kind of just sort of,
That's a generously low number.
Right, let's have the. Who's going to be leader for this little test? Out of the three of you.
Probably me, because I do the cosplay, so I make stuff like this all the time.
Perfect.
Oh, true.
So you're going to add 3 to your roll.
Great. So add the 3d6 together and then add 3.
Yeah.
12.
Just to pass. 11 to pass. Perfect. So you get this marble mold ready, and then you bring the earth round it. Each one. Try to do 5 or 6 of them. Nice. And then Lennox and Vesper lend their elements to make these marbles.
Yeah. Because if we're making glass, then I'll blow the air to make
Yes, great.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
Gonna bake the dirt. Baking that dirt. Baking that dirt.
And you come up with 6 really, really quite, and they're almost quite polished. Or they've got a glass kind of like a surface, and they've got this the illusion of being glass. And Toscana, do you go back down to collect them, or do you let the birds go for them?
I mean, it's probably easier to just let the birds collect them, right?
We're just like,
Meanwhile, I'll be slowly.
And I'll be like covering Tobey Maguire's eyeballs just in case.
These 5 large birds kind of swoop off the top of the sail, and 2 of them take the nest with them and bring it down to the bottom. Meanwhile, the Capra kind of stands up, and he's already looking at. He's got a little smile on the corner of his mouth. It's like it's starting to wriggle, starting to like wobble, like the hints of a grin. And the birds look at the marbles, and they look up at the eyes of each of your eyes, and the pony's eyes. Look down at the marbles, back to the eyes.
Those will
I
last longer.
guess they'll do. Would have preferred yummy, squishy eyes, but these are fine.
And each of the 5 pluck one in their beaks, and they fly off. Can you add 1 point of belief each on your sheet?
woo!
The Capra.
Well,
That's remarkable. I've been sat in the dirt for about a week and a half, trying to think of some way to rid myself of the pests. You've brought a smile to my face. I know it doesn't look like it, but it will appear eventually. And now I can get this bread done. What about on the way back, I have some bread ready for you. Some sourdough, say.
That sounds awesome.
And I promise,
That would be
I promise
lovely.
it only be slightly stale.
Great!
You got it.
Croutons.
I don't know if the air shaper can start my sails up again. That would be really handy.
Oh, cool. I try that. Do I roll?
No, you don't need to roll for certain tests. You don't need to roll. It's mainly collaborative stuff you need to roll for. So if you're doing it on your own, then just gather some energy up and then.
And then I blow out.
So it starts off slowly, and then you start filtering the air against the sails, and slowly it creaks and then starts to move. And you see that smile even more now in the other side of the lips, and the Capra is starting to find his happiness. Yay! Well done. You leave Gil behind, the Capra. He didn't even introduce himself. You leave the Capra behind, and you continue to follow Scrib's map. The path winds steeply towards the edge of a cliff. The landscape ahead drops away before you, and a circular valley stretches as far as the eye can see. Below is a community of roost, and though you can make out very little from this distance, its dramatic wooden tower rises from the centre like a pool cue, piercing the low-lying clouds. As you're gazing open-mouthed at the improbable structure, you notice dark spots in the sky. As they grow larger, you begin to make out a pair of glows swooping towards you. Between them, they are carrying something large in a bulging net. You already know it's Acros Unknown. You can tell from this distance because they've got these bright red, orange, and yellow plumage. It's like they're literally like on fire birds. And they land on the cliffside beside you. You can see that. Well, what are you observing about them?
What's in the net?
In the net is a gigantic blue egg. It's about 2.5 feet diameter. Bright blue with like gold flecks on the surface of the shell. And one of the brothers, his wing, or their wing, is looks broken in quite a few places. And it's kind of like in a sling, like a makeshift sling.
Hello, Pendragons. Hello.
Hi.
My name's Acros, and this is Ern, my brother. I believe you're here to help us with a bit of disbelief.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You're right.
Unfortunately, my brother
Rustin, don't you?
wished to solve this himself, but as you can see, he's rather incapacitated with his wing being broken. How it happened is a dire story. We have a good relationship with the trolls of the hills. As you can see, the hills stretch all the way up to the clouds to the east. But one troll overstepped the mark, shall we say, and decided to try and take Nimbus's eggs from her nest. Nimbus is a revered creature and rarely seen, and to steal her eggs is a complete fallacy. Now, we need you to take the egg back to her nest and deliver it safely, for we cannot do it with my brother in his state, and he's seen enough of troll kind to last a lifetime. If you do encounter a troll, please ensure it has not taken any more of the beautiful creature's eggs.
Okay.
I've got a dark question, and I gotta ask.
Ask away.
Great. Are the eggs for eating? Is that what they were trying to do with them?
The trolls were, yes.
Like, ew.
Fried. He likes the fried egg.
Oh,
I believe
same.
the troll's name is Aaron.
Many a troll's name is Aaron.
The fried egg.
Say. Do you need like help with the wing? I think my water powers can heal, or am I getting that confused?
I don't know
about that.
if you're fresh. If you're fresh out of the portal, I don't believe you can heal quite yet. I shall ferry my brother down to the center of Roost, and one of the worm bitten can deal with his wing. It shouldn't take long. But we will meet you back here. We will keep an eye on your ponies until you return.
All right. You be good, Hot Rod Charlie.
Bye, Tobey Maguire.
And we never saw Tobey Maguire again. You come back and your horse is Andrew Garfield.
It's just taller and longer. Where'd Toby go?
Why are you carrying a picture of Emma Stone? I don't understand.
Who is this horse? What have you done with Kirsten?
The islands work in mysterious ways. So, is there anything you want to do initially with the egg? I mean, it's very heavy, but you can sort of drag it in the net, but there's a chance that it will crack or be damaged.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if we can keep doing our like build things with the kiln deal, and we can make it a little sled that we can pull.
That makes sense.
That's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Lex,
use
will you help me
my
out?
powers for good. Yes.
Toscana, is there any way you can get involved in this?
I could like effectively like grease the sled a bit, or like grease the ground in front of the sled. Like hopefully it doesn't get stuck, but like
just enough to give it a little bit of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. Okay, perfect. So again, it's Rebel building the sled.
Yeah, just really establishing our reputation as potters.
We're gonna have a ceramic shop by the end of it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, Kilner's going to be well impressed with you, Lennox. Well impressed.
I don't know if I add anything to it, but I got a 3, a 2, and a 1, so I don't know if it's gonna go very well.
You had 4. 10. It's a fail. It's a fail. Just a very, very soft fail.
Do you get to reroll?
No, you don't.
Okay.
No.
That's only in combat.
But the Grail Guide now has to, in the game. This is a playtest. I'm describing what happens out of game. But the Grail Guide has to find either a different narrative, alternative narrative sort of sense of the test failing, or make them take it again if it's vital, or an alternative route or path. So you find the sled is it cracks basically. It's almost overheated, over dry, and it kind of cracks in the middle. It's got a fault in it. You don't feel like it will support the egg well enough. You can either try again, but you've lost a bit of faith, or you maybe find an alternative way of ferrying it or protecting it.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think?
Is there like a river or anything? Like going down into the valley, or?
Have you played this before? It's like the next encounter.
Oh.
You're sick.
I was thinking maybe we could float it.
River.
Like...
There's definitely no river in this game. There's no rivers anywhere on the islands. There's no water, actually. No lakes, water, river, seas.
It's only an island because they're way up in the air.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Troughs.
Yeah.
There might be a river soon. Yeah, there might be a river somewhere.
What?
Not right now, though.
What if? Okay, this is gonna be gross, but
Gross is good. Gross is fun.
what if we made it really muddy under the egg and rolled it along in the mud? And so like I push it,
With
and
air.
that way it's
Yep.
cushioned.
Yeah, and it's all squishy.
And it's gross, but it's gross. I'm like, it's a little risky.
I mean, the mud's not gonna hurt the egg. I'm just worried it'll like bang on something.
Yeah,
well, I
that's
could
my
run
fear,
ahead of
too.
it and try to push rocks out of the way.
Yeah.
As it goes.
Okay, and then I can make it all muddy and.
Yeah.
All right, that's a thing.
The sun has gone now, so it is starting to get dark. You've got no torches. Lennox can definitely come into her own now.
Flashlight. The sequence of which that happened was, oh yeah.
No, so you sort of like a beam of light out of your palm. That's lovely.
I will be right back. My cats are about to start fighting.
Nice.
Been there. Been there.
So this is going to be. Let's have a different leader because this is kind of a very joint thing. Let's have
Okay.
Lennox leading. Well, it is technically you are leading anyway, Lennox, because you're sort of lighting the way for this.
This
maneuver.
is the way. But instead of baby Yoda, it's an egg.
Let's get some dice rolling, Lennox. Let's get some dice rolling.
All right,
3d6. 3d6. Keep the dice. Add 4.
3d6. 14.
Nice. Yep.
I can't add in my
Goes
head,
fast.
so I do this.
No, I'm the same. I'm the same.
Flashlight. Back at it again.
Yeah, it works really well. You sort of like you really wet the sort of ground underneath it. Vesper, you're really getting used to with the balance with the parkour before you're starting to get the hang of shaping air in certain directions, and you can keep the egg really like steady. Beautiful, actually, like it's on its trajectory. And Lennox, you're really you're lighting up all the boulders basically in the way. Any sort of hard thing, and Rebel's just wrenching these boulders out of the ground and like throwing them to the side.
I am the lighthouse.
You're starting to really get used to it. Lennox Lighthouse.
That's it. That's my street name. That's gonna be the rap album.
That's
Done.
rap.
Yes.
Lennox Lighthouse.
Lighthouse. Amazing.
Oh, my friends. It's all coming together. It's all
Right, let's have a rap then. Let's have a rap about this. No, I'm not going to put in that pressure.
Lighthouse. Boulder over there. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Amazing. Amazing. The first lyrics are in place. First lyrics for the first album.
It's gonna rap. It's gonna be great.
We have to revisit these characters in the future and you come up with some raps.
Photoshop an album, just like
yeah, so you carry on. You follow the ridge for about an hour before arriving. So you're basically filling the Across and have told you to follow the hill sort of side, and it's a really like clear straight path. It's almost like, even though they're flying creatures, they've taken the time, because they've got such a good relationship with humans and pendragons, to make everything really like friendly for you. So it's a really straight path, but you do come, because they're not land-based creatures, you do come to a massive river, as Toscana predicted. And there doesn't seem to be any way around it. It kind of pours over the cliff edge in a waterfall, and if you look the other way, it stretches way across this flat plain, and it might take you a couple of days to get to the end of it, or a crossing. So you may as well just do it here. So how are you gonna do this?
Well, if we make if we just make something to float on, I can make sure that we float.
More pottery?
Do I hear the cry for a kill?
I mean, we
I'm
are
sensing
in
a
a forest.
theme.
I feel like we can just use wood, but sure.
We can put wood in the kiln.
Yeah. That'll go really great.
I am the kiln.
We can do less work.
Deforestation is a plague.
Right, let's kiln it up then.
Use concrete.
Yes, I'll make like a really sturdy but really thin raft, and then try to make those cylinders on the side to give it some buoyancy, so it's not just a rock that sinks into the river. But we'll see. I might need a little bit of lift.
I'm gonna be lifting us up across here.
We're gonna throw some concrete in a river.
It'll be great.
It's gonna be fine.
We know physics. We know physics.
Because science. We're using the power of
What's
science.
science?
It makes sense. If you throw steel on the river, it's unsinkable.
So there
Quite
you go.
right. Quite right.
I mean,
Until it's
yeah.
an iceberg.
Oh, bam, 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 Titanic race.
Right, let's go for it. Let's have some element signs. Let's all do the elements at the same time. Start again.
Okay.
We'll do all the elements at the same time, and then I'll give you all a wave.
Boop, 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 boop. Water, go.
Nice. Well done. Superb. Right, so you make this. Well, let's roll the dice then. Let's have. Let's just, because it's a joint thing. We'll have Vesper as leader this time.
Okay. Ooh. That's
+4.
+4. Ooh. 13.
Yeah. This time it works. I think Rebel, you're kind of the sort of person that wants to retry things, doesn't give up. And yeah, you craft this raft. You craft the raft, and you place the egg on top. Toscana controls the water surface, making it really calm, just for a couple of minutes. And do you all get on the raft as well, or do you wade in and push the raft across?
Well, you see, if I get on the raft with the egg and then send it back, and then the wolf and the sheep get on the raft together,
And then the fox and the goose get.
Sounds legitimately a good idea. Yeah.
Am I the fox or the wolf in this situation?
I feel like
Who
you're
wants to be set on fire?
Who doesn't?
You make it safely across. It's superb. So far, no troubles with the egg whatsoever. As soon as you're across to the other side of the bank, you notice like a trail of smoke down just past the cliff edge to a plateau down below, like a rock shelf, and there seems to be a cave entrance down there. As well as a cave entrance, you see a recently lit campfire. It's huge, this campfire. It's not like a normal one. It's like a bonfire virtually. And there's a sack lying next to it with a bulging shape inside.
How large is the sack?
It seems about the same size. Is don't know what accent that is. That's the worst.
I went really.
Where did you just go?
Where are we?
I thought you were just having to choke out that line.
God.
It's about the same size as the egg you're carrying.
It's the same size as the egg. Okay.
Mm.
Gross.
Seems to be the same shape as well.
Oh, is this a troll cave?
Huh.
You do hear below your feet, because the cave will extend beneath you. You kind of hear this very resonant, sort of echoing hum. Fry it up. Fry it up. The yolk's the best. I did need no test. It's going in my guts. I'm not throwing up. The egg's the best. And you can his voice kind of travels through the surface.
Okay. What do we do about this? Because I don't think we can just snag the egg and run. It's really heavy.
Yes, we can.
Can we? I mean, I would like that if it wasn't so big and heavy.
It doesn't have to be. I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm a hot-headed teen with nothing to lose.
Can air shrink?
You're hot-headed.
Is that a
If you think the elements can do something, then they usually can, and the Grail Guide would allow it, regardless of science.
Ha! Take that, environment.
Exactly.
Wait, so this is on a cliff face, and this is like a platform?
So you're on the top of the surface with the cliff, and just down to the left, a little bit down, about 5 or 6 feet, there's the entrance to a cave on a little kind of cliff lip, like a shelf. Yeah. And then the path carries on up and up and up, ascending to the sort of like lower cloud line.
What if you block the cave entrance with rocks?
That's what I was thinking.
We
And we'll have all the time in the world.
We have all the time in the world. Don't hurt her. That's rude. So,
That worked in both contexts.
Yeah.
sorry. Gave my
Can't wait for that egg.
So if I go
Want
ahead and
some
I
bread?
close off the cave
Maybe talk
with
to
the
that
rock, do we have a
goat.
plan to get the egg out of there?
yeah.
You stealing bread from the goat
Maybe.
now?
Okay. What if there's this? It's in this big bag, right?
Yeah, like a
What if
hemp
we-
sack.
What if we take it out of the bag, and then it's like a hot air balloon, right?
Yeah.
What if we have Lennox just float the egg up to us
Ooh.
by heating up the air, right? It's like a
Yeah.
balloon.
So like fire and air together. Yeah, to make like a vacuum.
Uh-huh.
Nice, yeah. That's
I
cool.
like-
And then are you going to fill the sack with rocks to like replace the shape of the egg?
Oh no, I was thinking
That's
use the sack as the balloon, right?
Oh, I see.
Mhm.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we'll
Love
put
that.
rocks in front of the cave so hopefully the troll can't come out while we do this.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you're all using the elements again, which is amazing. And no one's ever come up with this combination, which is what we hope from the game, is that everyone who plays it will have a different solution, and it will be a different narrative and different story. So that's the best type of role playing, isn't it? So
Lennox, you should write down some of his lyrics for your album, though. Like I know we're
yeah,
about
you
to trap him
definitely,
in a
definitely
cave,
have like
but
if
keep some
fried
of
eggs
these.
one of the tracks.
All right.
Fried
All
eggs,
right.
fried eggs and goat bread.
Head's a flashlight, frying eggs in the daylight. Stealing bread from a goat guy. Birds are making him cry.
It's just you're all over it. It's just
it flows.
miracle.
Like wine. It's just.
What does this wine taste like?
Yeah,
I'm 15.
yeah, you really are the next Missy Elliott.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Right. Let's go for it. The leader is, I think. Well, you choose. You choose the leader.
I think I'm leading because I don't have a whole lot to do element wise. So
That's true.
it's like I did the idea.
There you go.
That's true. Yeah. So you roll then and add 3.
Okay.
And don't forget you've got a gift. I really want someone to crit. I really want someone to crit because it's an amazing thing that happens. Maybe we can pretend that you crit before we finish.
5-5-2.
Oh, what is it? A 6, a
5,
6,
5.
and a 5.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I got.
Oh my god! Wow,
I can't
that's
believe it.
amazing.
I cannot believe that. It's so rare that happens.
Gag.
So
Zeus.
add a belief point to another, automatically a belief point to your sheet. You individually. Now you feel that the presence of Aethelin, who's the water inspired. Even if they're in their bathhouse up north in Shedscale, you still feel their presence with you. And as you're forming this idea and this really clever plan, you notice behind you hear a small barking noise. And as you turn around to investigate, you see this pup there made of water. And all of its fur is like flowing like a stream. And it wags its tail and these droplets flick off.
Hi, buddy.
And it's got swirling. And as you look into its eyes, it kind of comes up to you and it kind of nuzzles on your neck and it kind of wagging its tail like furiously. You automatically, you look in its eyes, you can automatically tell where Aethelin is and what they're doing. You can see the inspired right there. And they're currently spelunking in one of the caverns of the Under Isles. So you see them like basically they're doing parkour over this like cavern stalagmite, and then they flip off the roof and then go across the roof and then dive into like an underground lake.
Wow.
And you get this vision of them all of a sudden, and you're filled with all this kind of like really happy energy. And this pup just sits there and goes onto its hindquarters and it's kind of wagging its tail, still really furiously.
Can I let him sniff and then give him a hug?
Yeah, he's so accommodating, or they're so accommodating, and you hold it, and it's just it completely soaks your clothes. But again, you're used to shaping it, so like you feel really comforted by sort of like the dampness of the dog. Yeah, that's what happens if you crit in this game. You get a pup.
That's the best critical effect ever.
I love it.
So yeah, what do the others do then? You're too distracted to notice the pup at the moment.
I'm just gonna make the, I guess, sides of like that cave opening kind of curl in so that it locks it off.
Nice. The troll doesn't seem to pay attention. It's just surprisingly quite quiet. The effect of it. It's almost like it's very naturally done, like almost like seamless. And you still hear him singing. Benedict or poach the best. Friday done is the best of the rest. But I need that bread. I need that bread. Anyway, what happens?
You should really sample that part.
What happens?
Next song, sample it.
What happens to the sack and the egg then? That's going to float up like in like a balloon type thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of drifts off. I don't know if any of you played Breath of the Wild, the Zelda game. It's a bit like that, kind of like this like vacuum of air, yeah. And then this game is very much based on that game. And then it floats up, and the troll hasn't noticed. I'm not doing any more singing, but the egg lands safely next to you on the bankside. In which case, you all see the new arrival.
I made a friend.
Hello, friend.
Others.
Lennox, it's a little bit wary of you, but the rest it's fine with. It sort of backs out slightly.
That's fair.
Can I craft it a little ball out of rocks?
Yes, kind of plays around with it, nuzzles it, and he's looking at it and looking down up the path, looking up the path.
Go get it.
It runs and it moves. It literally flows like a river. It just runs. It's almost like it doesn't touch the ground, and all the ground underneath it just like it's completely saturated. And when it stops, it just shakes all this water off. It's like a constantly wet dog, constantly wet puppy.
Does it smell like wet dog?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't even care. Still a good doggo.
Still a great doggo.
That's
They
hilarious.
gave me like a mystical vision. It was cool.
Love your sticky dog.
Brilliant, guys. Well done. That's awesome. Leaving the troll behind, you ascend the hilltop, hardly noticing as cold mist surrounds you. It's deathly silent up here, and visibility is limited. Apart from the dog's occasional bark, you feel the ache and exhaustion in your legs from lugging the eggs. You eventually reach the peak, which flattens out to form a wide circular plateau. As the mist slowly clears, it reveals a huge nest in the very center, with a few of the similar eggs inside.
Yes.
Slap those bad boys in there.
Slap tap the nest.
With care.
Well,
This baby
you know how,
fits so
like,
many eggs in it.
Well,
baby
place, and then we'll high five. That's the slap.
Oh, okay.
Can we spank them just like a little bit, like you do bags of dirt at the store, just like a little pat. Just
Vesper,
yeah, what's up?
you have a real affinity with air at the moment, and unnaturally, the sort of hairs on the back of your neck rise suddenly, and you can't quite pinpoint why, but you feel like you're being watched. And as you gaze about, you just look around in the air. You're looking around you, and as you center on this point, as the mist clears slightly above and the clouds part, you see these huge, like almost like carousel-sized eyes, like red eyes, and this beak, like extending down. And it is preposterously sized, this creature. You're talking about the size of a football stadium. And it's perfectly still, and it's just staring right at you, Vesper.
I say hi. Hello.
It kind of slightly parts its beak, and strangely, it's got a tongue, this bird. And on the tongue are bones, large bones, humanoid bones.
This is really scary, but also metal as hell.
I stick it.
And it likes to lean forward, and the clouds kind of like, even with slight movement, they billow out the way. And it looks at the egg that you're all carrying, the eggs you're all carrying. And it just slightly looks towards the nest.
We're just putting them back. We found these. I know it sounds like a lie. I've never shoplifted in my life. I'm putting them back.
This
Really?
looks bad, but
You might have noticed they were missing.
It kind of opens its beak, and a couple of bones slide out next to the nest, clatter onto the floor. And right, do a test. Do a social test.
Oh, great.
You're only adding +1 to this.
10.
Total 10.
Just a total 10. 6, 2, 1 plus the 1.
Can you spend belief, or do you have any gift?
No gift yet.
Ah.
Only you've got gift. Suddenly, Nimbus moves very quickly, rears its head back, and extends from the hidden sort of clouds, extends this massive clawed hand, taloned hand, and just grabs you around the waist. You can barely tell or feel anything until before it's just flown off into the air, and all these huge wings open up, and it takes off. And it's so large that even 2 swoops take it a good 500 yards from your location. And you can see it in the distance now, heading off towards Roost and the valley below.
Huh.
Vespa!
I'm a little busy.
Did
Vespa,
not see that coming.
You can barely see the tips of the wings, and the violent winds force your eyes to close. As you dip beneath the clouds, you can squint enough to see Roost Tower. Moments later, the bird spreads its wings to slow and lands to perch on the very top of the structure. There's a huge crashing noise as some of the wooden ceiling and roof slightly crashes down and collapses. The glow didn't seem to be bothered at all. There's quite a lot of glow around the tower, and they sort of help you down. He opens his talons and lets you down.
Thank you.
And that voice is, I've just lost my voice a little bit, but that's meant to be much louder. Someone else do it. Someone says loud, thank you.
Thank you.
And it kind of, the voice from the beak kind of reverberates around the tower. It almost shakes the structure. And it takes back off. It just suddenly launches back off, sending more wood down to the hundreds of feet down below into the community center, and takes off into the clouds.
Huh.
Thankfully, you 3 can see this happening, and you know that your companion's safe.
Oh.
The glow are kind of bowing to you, Vesper, and one of them, as they escort you down through the tower, one of them plucks out one of its feathers, and reverently gives it to you, hands it to you.
I pluck out a piece of my hair and I also give it to him. And then I take his feather, I guess, but I make sure that he takes my hair.
Nice. Kind of puts it behind his.
Yeah. I like to think I got
Yeah.
Huh.
I stick the feather behind my ear too.
You're most welcome here. I see you've met Nimbus.
Well, I don't know if we met so much as mildly kidnapped by. What do you
Mysterious ways. You must have done something right. She rarely gives people a lift anywhere. It's seen as a great honor to even be held by her. You have been honored in this day. Be thankful. And you suddenly feel 2 belief. You suddenly earn 2 belief. So add 2 to your sheet. You're filled with this sudden euphoria. And it's when the glow said those words that it's like a great honor. You felt that honor. And you feel the impact of being so close to such a revered creature. As the others replace the eggs and make their way slowly back to Acros and Urn, you also make your way up through the community, seeing all the wonderful, diverse glow with their different plumage. Some aethylian, some are graying, almost like their feathers are like leaves, basically. And even the wind ones, which is the most common, with these beautiful plumage. And you make your way up to the cliff path, and you meet your companions where the ponies are gathered.
Tell me.
You've done a great deed. I could see that Nimbus honored you.
I guess
Never
we'll take
happened. It hasn't happened to any Pendragons before.
Ooh.
Oh, congrats, Vespa.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you're awesome.
We have fed all your ponies, and they are very happy. And
Yeah.
now you must return to the cabin and relate your deeds to Scriv, the bard, and hopefully you have felt a good first feeling from your first outing. Now I must take Ern back into town and get him fixed up, so we
Get well soon.
may fight these trolls another day and keep disbelief from our borders. Now, in the game, as is a playtest, I'm going to tell you about the final mechanic, which is reflection. Now, we thought this is very important for role-playing, and especially when playing with teenagers or children. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions as a group, and it's up to you who answers them. But I'll let you answer one each. So as you're riding back across the hills towards the windmill and your bread collection, and then eventually back to the cabin, and you're sort of asking yourself some questions. So I'll ask Toscana, what have you learned about the islands?
I've learned that things are really sacred, even the small stuff. Like everyone seems to really care about what they're about a lot.
That's
like
great.
whether it's Sad Goat Man or fighting trolls.
So a lot of passion there, you mean?
Mhm.
Nice. Vespa, who did you meet and what did you encounter?
Met some really nice the Ern and their friend, and they wanted. We met people who were driven to protect each other and driven to keep their community together and help others. That was cool.
Lovely. Rebel, what was the highlight of the day?
The highlight of the day was hearing the troll sing and learning that even in really dangerous situations, you can find a little bit of community and joy.
Nice.
Fried eggs, baby.
It's probably not the right person to ask, but Lennox, how has your shaping improved? So that would be, how's the sign language improved?
Oh. Well, it's definitely gotten me back to the basics of things.
Nice.
Like once you hit a certain level of ASL, like you forget like simple signs and simple like finger spelling actual like tactics. So it was really nice to actually
that's good.
relearn from the beginning. It's been a very long time
brilliant.
since I've seen ASL 1, so.
Nice. Toscana, how much belief have you collected?
2.
Nice. Vespa, what do you tend to spend your belief on?
Well, I don't know if I have yet. What?
So normally you'd ask this, these questions would be asked to the whole group. So you'd collectively, how much belief have you got collectively? That's what it would be.
Oh.
And what you tend to spend it on would be either leveling up, which you couldn't do after the first session, obviously, or spending it to upgrade items. You know, I told you about the shining levels and glowing levels. That's how you infuse your items, basically. It gives you bonuses. So there's the 2 ways you can spend to belief.
Oh, I'd spend it on making my headphones glow.
Exactly.
Sweet.
Rebel, what's your plan for tomorrow?
Well, I want to eat the same breakfast that we ate this morning because it was absolutely delicious, minus the fish, because I've learned that we don't eat the fish. And then probably if we don't have another mission to go on, I'll probably go to wherever they make the maps and try to update their maps a little bit because we've been on the journey and we now know what the maps look like.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Lennox, what do you miss about home?
What I miss about home, I think what I miss is hearing fellow artists spin some lyrics as I walk by.
Nice.
Get my inspiration from them, and we collab together.
Nice. You have to get some trolls on board.
Dude.
And finally, Toscana, what would you take back with you?
I have a sappy answer and a silly answer.
Good.
The silly answer is I want to take that puppy.
Yes.
The sappy answer is I want to take back this feeling of having done something good.
Oh.
Nice. That's awesome. That's exactly what we kind of want from the reflection thing mechanic, really. Want people to players to think about what they've experienced and retread it in a good way. That is the end of the session. You return to the questing cabin. Scrib's there. She's giving you hugs. You know, there's no COVID in InspirIsles. High five and hugs, and you relax. You seat her and back to in the living room. Have some nice drinks, hot drinks, cocoa, malt drink, whatever, and head to your sanctuary for the night. Exhausted. Rose, that's it. We're waving. We're
There
waving.
you are.
All right, they're still there, guys. Don't worry. Let me just. Okay. Boo, 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 boo. Oh, that's now too small. Guys, look. Okay.
It's not. It looks delightful. You're doing great.
All right. So, thank you, new friends and old friends, for joining us for our Playtest Tuesday. I think I'm unmuted now. The chat said I'm muted. I feel like if I'm still muted, tell me I'm still muted.
Ready, go, James.
Okay, yeah,
I hear
they
Rose.
hear me. Excellent.
Cool.
So, basically, I think, we're going to kind of wrap it up. I think we can go around and do little plugs. What? Somebody said my face cam is just a picture of Rodney Dangerfield.
That's a lie.
What?
Is that a joke that I'm supposed to get that I don't?
You just pop up and being like, I can't get no respect.
That must be the joke.
That's really.
Okay, so we'll go around and do plugs. Let's start with if anybody has anything that they want to plug that they're working on right now. We're gonna do like popcorn. So Allie, go for it. Let's end with Rich though, and then I'll talk about some Quelmar stuff.
Cool. Yeah.
Go ahead, Allie.
I don't have anything I'm working on. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
But this was great, and you all should look into this game because this was awesome. Woo!
Glad you enjoyed it.
Popcorn over to Amber.
I'm part of a D&D comedy group called Oh Crit Improv. And if you follow me on Met Comedy Nights Twitch, you can see me every third Friday night. May is our last show, so it's a D&D RPG themed comedy show. And then starting in the summer, in June, we are going to be doing live streams of Blades in the Dark for our summer extravaganza.
Cool.
Yay!
More into that.
Oh, I'm also in that group. Come watch us
Rose
be
is also
ridiculous.
there. Yeah,
Come on,
Nice.
Twitch.tv/Met Comedy Night. Follow me on Instagram, not Instagram, Twitter if you want, for Twitter comedy at my_bro_Ernest. That's a very old joke from college. Also visit your local library, pay your taxes.
I
mean, good. You should.
I don't
but
disagree.
It's just the way it came out was so good.
The delivery.
It was right there.
This one.
It's oh boy. Also, InspirIsles is great.
Thank you.
You gonna popcorn it?
Popcorn it too. Oh no! Wait, I wrote everybody's names down this.
Anyone else?
They're
Anyone
also
else?
on the. I can popcorn it, Amber. Popcorn to Kelly.
Chelsea, what have you got going on?
So, oh my god. Well, this was really, really fun, and I had a great time. But I stream on Wednesday and Friday nights over at Hutch's Hub, so twitch.tv/Hutch's Hub. And you can also find me on YouTube at Witch Watch Games, where I do stuff. Yep.
Nice.
If you want to see the raw me, go to the Twitch. If you want to see the edited me, go to YouTube. More graphics and jokes. Twitch is me being a ding dong, but we take it in all forms.
Which
here.
is also lots of fun jokes.
It is, we have a good time. So yeah, you can find me there.
Nice.
Speaking of Blades in the Dark, and to a lesser extent being a ding dong, I'm on an actual play Blades in the Dark podcast called The Magpies.
What?
I play the character Minx there. What?
That's
what?
awesome. I'm just really excited about it.
Yeah. We've been going for 4 seasons, and we're coming up on the finale soon. But we just launched a sort of umbrella network for it called Clever Corvids. So visit clevercorvids.net to see that. And we've launched a Kickstarter to fund things like new audio equipment and getting ready for our follow-up podcasts. So that's going on right now. So if you want to check that out.
How long have you been playing that session? How long have you been playing the Blades in the Dark? Years wise?
Getting close to 4 years. It's going to come in a little. It's going to come a little short of that. But
congrats, that's fantastic.
Anybody who's had a conversation with me that lasted long enough to get to podcasts, I've probably yelled at you about the Magpies and how you have to listen to it.
Yeah. Well, you can yell at me now. I need to listen. But
everybody listens to the Magpies. Amber's like, I have heard about this.
It's in my podcast folder to be listened to once I get through.
I should get on it. Don't worry.
So our Kickstarter lasts until very early in the morning on Friday. So really Thursday is the last day for it. We're coming up on our second stretch goal. You can visit us at Clever Corvids on Twitter to get the link to that, and also just updates. We're on Spotify, iTunes, all the different platforms. And then if you want to follow me for art and stuff, I'm at Dragon Girl Josie on Twitter.
That's so cute. Yay!
Go us.
So I'm Rich at Hatchling DM pretty much everywhere. My website is www.hatchlingsdm.com, and I've just launched the sort of pre-launch page on Itch.io for the game, and I'd like to give you all the link to that. So it's hatchlingdm.itch.io/InspirIsles. And I'm really proud of the page. It took me till 3 a.m. last night. So 2-3 a.m. Sessions.
Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Josh's art. Josh is not art. Is like on the overlay we've used today. He's stunning, not artist. And that's basically all I need to plug, because all the updates will be on that page, and then it will launch for about middle of June.
Woo!
And it'll come with all filmed tutorials on the sign language done by 2 of my deaf colleagues.
Great.
So one in BSL, one in ASL. Raji's doing the BSL and Katie's doing the ASL. So any players new to the language will have a video reference, exactly how to do the handshake, exactly how to do all the sentences.
Yep.
So it's fully accessible to people. We're really excited.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
And we just got an article with Dicebreaker, which is a prominent kind of review and news gaming site. That was a big deal today.
Yeah,
That is fantastic.
Okay, work.
Yeah, follow the
wait.
page and follow me on Twitter. That'd be wonderful. I hope you enjoyed the session.
I enjoyed it.
I certainly did.
Oh,
It was
I certainly did. It was
amazing.
a lot of fun.
Everyone,
This is really
was,
fun.
Technically our second ever Playtest Tuesday, and I am going to be making this at least a monthly thing, where we'll do a new game every month on the first Tuesday of the month. The next one is going to be a game called Necrobiotic. Which is a new game that recently came out, or is currently in the Kickstarter phase, or about to launch its Kickstarter, and it's it's created by. Hold on, he has a last. Nope, his last name's not on Twitter. But his name's Mitch, or their name is Mitchell. And the game, the concept is essentially like dystopian future, post-apocalyptic. The dead walk among us, but it was we who put them back on their feet. Is the kind of tagline for the game. So that's going to be the next playtest. A little less wholesome and goofy than this one, probably.
Just
That's
a
a good
little
thing.
bit.
That contrast is fantastic.
That sounds
then-
so dope.
And then I also currently am in the works on setting up a playtest of actually a Dungeons and Dragons setting that was self-described by the creators as queer a setting as we could make. So that should be coming soon. So seems like we're hopefully we're gonna get to do a lot of fun new exploring of independent creators and get to learn a lot about more new games this summer and moving forward. So
yeah, it's a great thing you're doing. Rose. Brilliant, really good. If you can support Mitchell and the Kickstarter, that would be amazing, because he's been a close ally of mine for a number of months now.
So really excited to keep going forward with these. As always, I'm Rose, and you can find me on Twitter at SmileyRosie with 4 Y's at the part where I said hey. And if you're looking to see more content from me, it would be I do a couple different podcast things, but you can find all that through my Twitter. And Quelmar is kind of a group world building, gaming, tabletop world and playing experience, I guess would be the best way to describe it. We all, things like this. So this game that we just played, in a way, it now has just created a new universe in Quelmar, right? So everything, somebody could add this to this massive world that we've been all creating together, and these 4 characters and their adventure in the British Isles inspired portal plane could become a part of Quelmar's lore. So that's one of the really fun things about it, and why I'm really excited to be playtesting all these games here and forever immortalizing them in Quelmar history. So as just new people, we're gonna say keep rolling the dice all together. 1, 2, 3. Keep rolling
rolling
the
the
dice. And now I figure out how to